Okay, back again with Peter as is. How are you doing today, Peter?
Okay.
Okay, so we're here at a place called to do a workshop on point holding. Can you explain what point holding is?
Well, this is a system called body electronics. So we use points in the body that trigger genetic memories. So as you're pressing the points, all your old memories, traumas, suppressed beliefs and feelings will come out.
So you're saying that you have thoughts and they kind of get stored in the body?
Yes.
So how does that process happen?
Well, every thought or experience you have creates an electrical signal that actually goes right through the DNA of the whole body. Because the DNA is this coil which then twists back on itself, goes down and up again. The resultant wave inside has no direction, it's what we call a scalar wave. So every memory that we haven't yet fully experienced is stored as a scalar wave in every DNA molecule within the body. Every
memory that we haven't experienced?
Yes. When something happens to you, you don't yet subconsciously experience it fully mentally. With full presence, it's still stored there.
Okay, so that's what you mean by suppressed then? It's like, something's happening...
Everything you experience and think creates the wave. What happens with you experience it consciously, it's going through the brain. Now, in between the two hemispheres of the brain, you have this structure called the corpus callosum. It's in the shape of a Mobius strip. Any wave which goes around that Mobius strip goes to 180-degree phase change and cancels other waves stored in the coil. If once you experience something fully, it's no longer stored in the body.
Okay. So, what emotions are stored where in the body?
First of all, from the bottom up, the lowest emotion stored at the gonads is unconsciousnus. That can mean any time you've blanked out, gone numb, taken anesthetics, anything like that. The spleen stores apathy. The adrenal, solar plexus and pancreas stores grief. The thymus stores fear. The thyroid stores anger. The pituitary stores pain. The pineal gland simply resonates with enthusiasm, which means when that's working there's no resistance.
So, is there any way you've got of diagnosing? I mean, when somebody's lying down, how do each of these particular things, like the pituitary, so there's a specific point in the body you have to press for that then, to release
we're using
that emotion?
Points. That's right, we're using reflex points in the body.
Can you go into that in a bit more detail? Like, how do you look in the iris?
We look at the iris, so we use iris diagnosis to see which glands have got lesions in them, and then we know those ones store certain emotions. We then go to reflex points and we press those, it triggers those glands to release the content.
So basically people feel it as actually being physically sore?
It'll feel painful when you press it, yes.
And how long do people need to hold these points for? And what happens during that process?
It takes about 2 hours, it can be a bit longer, 2 to 3 hours usually.
And what's happening when they push the point? What's happening to the person receiving and the person holding the point?
Well, the person holding the point is channeling an energy that we've given them, we've kind of tuned them to. It's basically the energy of unconditional love and enthusiasm, because that's what causes all the lower emotions to rise out again. The space of non-judgment, where they're enthusiastic about everything, then all the old emotions rise up.
This is the person holding the point?
Yeah.
So they have
the
to
person being held will simply experience all the expressions come back again. They experience the expressions from the bottom up. First they go numb, then all the old failure patterns of giving up comes out, then all the grief, then the fear, then the anger, then the pain.
So over a 2-hour process, the first time I done it, I felt very cold, and it's like these cold shivers were kind of coming out of my body.
That happens with the unconsciousness. You see, the elemental energies that you stored on an unconscious level have a certain density. When they're released, they come out like cold winds.
Okay, so that was releasing. Any times I've took drugs in the past, or
not the drugs themselves. What happens though, when you're unconscious, there's a gap in the aura. Some elemental energy fills that space, what you might call an entity.
Ah, okay.
And as these energies break down, as you close the holes, these cold winds come out again.
Ah. So the next session I had, basically, I think it was my thyroid that was getting pushed on my foot, and it took me about another hour, and then I got angry with one person thinking about it, and it kind of led to a series of people.
That's right. What happens when you trigger that point of anger, all the anger comes out, one after the other.
So you kind of do like a life review as such of all these
past lives as well, and even genetic memories.
So you can clear up any genetic.
Yes.
These things get passed on genetically.
That's right. You might actually remember things that your parents were angry about.
All right. And what do you do when you feel this anger? How do you release it?
You welcome it.
Okay.
You see, feelings that just need to be felt. When people judge them or over-identify with them, they're stuck. If you simply welcome the feelings, you feel them in their hearts.
Okay, so it's like going into them and
it's
exploring them.
It's difficult to explain until you start doing it. You see, it's almost mixture of yin and yang. It's not too forceful, not trying too hard.
Right.
It's in being in a position where you're allowing it to be there and actually welcoming it. You feel this is okay to feel, it's fine, you let it be there, feel it as long as it needs to be there, and then let it go as it passes by itself.
Okay. And how does our DNA store things from the future as well?
In a way, the DNA is a blueprint for the future.
Okay.
You see, it's always geared towards what you're becoming.
Right. So if you've got a certain path ahead of you, then you could feel things in that path. I don't understand.
Well, you're creating it. You see, your consciousness, your mind is always motivated towards the future, where you're going to go. All your thoughts, your beliefs, your behaviour, it's all designed to get you somewhere.
Right.
Your DNA is being shaped by your thought patterns.
Ah, right.
It's then holding the blueprint of the future that you're becoming.
Okay. So by doing this, then how can we actually change our beliefs? What's a belief in, we're releasing all these old traumatic events? Do we then still carry around the same beliefs, or is something inside us changed?
Beliefs often attached to emotions. What happens when you have some kind of traumatic event? The belief is formed when you add meaning and significance to that event. The emotion itself doesn't break the belief. But, something happens and you say, oh, this means this, and it creates the belief.
Okay.
Like a person, say, as a child, might not be being loved by their parents, and they might say, oh, this means I'm unlovable. That forms a belief, I'm unlovable.
Right.
When you actually release the emotion that goes to the experience, you actually recognise the meaning you gave to it at the time. Mm-hmm. As you give it different meaning, the belief changes.
Yeah, I've experienced that myself, looking back on maybe a fear of success or self-sabotaging, and then you can locate a point where that kind of stemmed from.
Yes.
And then doing that and releasing it, then you say, okay, I don't need to hold that belief anymore.
Exactly. The belief changes with the emotion.
Now after we've done the body points, we spent a couple of days on the spine.
Yes.
What points get released in the spine? Is it basically the same process, or is there anything?
Same process, but goes deeper. You see, quite often organs are blocked because they're lacking nerve supply to the spine, when the spine has been calcified. If an organ isn't getting full nerve supply, it can't heal properly.
So how does a spine get calcified?
That also stores negative thought patterns and so on.
Right. So
the spine is very much to do with your will. When your will is bent, the spine gets distorted. What that means is that you want to do something, somebody else tells you something else, you have your will. You pull other people's ideas rather than your own. Because you're giving your will away, you're giving away power, the spine starts to calcify.
And the spine gets bent physically?
Yes, you can get distorted in small places.
Right.
Sometimes your ideas start crumbling.
So we hold the points on the spine, and the heat that comes out of that, what is that heat?
Well, that's what we call kundalini. But scientifically, it's only explained by the electrons changing orbit, because the body is going through nuclear changes at that point.
Okay, and what is kundalini spiritually?
It's seen as a purifying fire that is called up at the base of the spine, and when it's awakened, it rises up the spine into the head, causes enlightenment. The body burns, it's been purified. When the kundalini rises in the body, actually heals anything that's out of place. It'll burn away up normal tissue, it'll regenerate things that need to be regenerated.
And you also mentioned that the spine acts as an antenna. What do you mean by that?
If you look at the shape of the spine, the kind of curve is perfect to hold a certain wave. Now the Earth puts out a frequency of about 7.83 Hertz with human frequency. And this is a perfect size and shape to hold those waves. So the energy the Earth is putting out, our spine is picking up. And this is how we receive energy from the Earth, from the cosmos. So we always have an endless supply of energy with us.
What do you mean, energy? Just energy to go for a walk, or
Everything is energy. Whether it's mental energy, spiritual energy, emotional energy, all energy comes from this one source.
So kind of clearing those blocks up on the spine gets your antenna working better,
yes,
and then
absorb energy better.
So you can. Does that mean you can absorb negative energy better?
Well, you'll be more discriminating, because what's going to happen is that the spine also projects outwards the waves that you're creating, the waves of creation. So your visualizations will work far more effectively.
Okay. You mentioned, just talking about visualizations, that if you want something to happen, you visualize it for 33 seconds.
Yep.
Can you explain that process and why it's so quick? And
that's how long it takes for the neurons to fire in the brain once you start visualizing something. When it's got to 33 seconds, it's reached its peak of intensity.
Okay.
At that moment, the programmer said, this is what you want.
Say that again?
At that moment, you've given a very clear message, this is what it's going to be.
Right.
That's what it really requires, that decision, the clarity.
So if you want a certain business deal or something to go your way, you would kind of focus on that particular thing for 33
seconds.
Exactly
what you want for 33 seconds, seeing it visually, feeling it emotionally, seeing the whole situation, but using all your senses, hearing what you need to hear, feeling the atmosphere, putting all your senses into it to reverse the emotion. to make it real.
Okay, so you sit down with that particular purpose. You don't do it when you're doing something else. It's a very real 33 seconds.
When you want to create something, any situation, you visualise for 33 seconds. You find it will take 33 seconds for it to reach the peak of its clarity.
And would you do that once a day, or you just need to do it once, or?
Anything from 1 to 5 times a day is good.
Okay.